I still remember the moment I decided to go camping with my friends, Eric and Jordan, like it was yesterday. The idea seemed innocent at the time, a weekend escape to Black Needle Ridge, a remote stretch of forest none of us had ever been to. I didn't believe in anything supernatural. Ghosts, spirits, creatures lurking in the woods, all that was nonsense. But the forest had a way of teaching me otherwise, and I learned it the hard way. We drove in late afternoon, the sun dipping behind the trees, casting long shadows that flickered like fingers along the road. There was a chill in the air I hadn't expected for that time of year, and the ranger at the booth gave us a look I couldn't quite interpret. He asked if we were camping far in, and when we said about 6 miles near the old fire watch tower, he didn't respond immediately. Just stared at us for a too long moment before saying, "Stay away from the low fog. When you see it you'll know." And he shut the window. We laughed it off. Of course we did. None of us wanted to think about warnings. The hike started easy enough, but about halfway there the forest began to feel wrong. Birds stopped singing, insects were silent, and the wind didn't move through the branches. Even our voices seemed to vanish in the air. We joked, trying to convince ourselves nothing was out of place, but the silence pressed down so heavily it felt physical. Every sound we made, every laugh, every step, was muffled as if the trees themselves were swallowing it. We reached a small clearing and set up our tents. The fire we built cast long, twisting shadows but didn't bring comfort. The air was thick, still, like holding your breath underwater. That first night, I lay in my sleeping bag closest to the tree-line, staring at the dark beyond the firelight. That's when I first heard it, a step. Slow, deliberate, heavy. Not far away. Not close enough to touch me, but close enough that I could feel it through the air. "Eric," I whispered, voice shaking. He and Jordan were on the other side of the fire, asleep. The step came again. "Probably a deer," Jordan muttered without even opening his eyes. But it wasn't. I know it wasn't. A deer doesn't move like it's deciding each placement of its foot, doesn't pause as if listening, and certainly doesn't whisper. Then I heard my name. My own voice. Not in my mouth. Outside. Behind me. "Help!" It dragged, uneven, broken. I jerked back so fast I knocked over my mug. My heartbeat thundered in my ears. "Jordan, help me." He sat up instantly, staring at me. It wasn't me. The whisper came again, this time sounding exactly like Eric. "Jordan, come check, come help." We froze, too scared to move as the forest seemed to close around us. The voices kept coming, switching between us, mimicking us perfectly, but each word had a strange quiver, like a recording being played on a broken device. We didn't sleep that night. Every sound outside, every shift in the shadows made us jump, and the fire felt like it was burning through our nerves instead of wood. The next night was worse. I thought the first night was bad, but the second night broke something inside me. Around 2:30 a.m., I woke to the feeling of something brushing the side of my tent. Slow, deliberate. I froze. The dragging stopped above my head. I could hear breathing, shaky, wet, wrong. I whispered, "Eric? Jordan?" Silence. No answer. The pressure on the tent intensified. I felt something pressing down, long, thin fingers tracing the shape of my skull through the nylon. I wanted to scream, but my body betrayed me, freezing in place. Then it lifted. And whispered. Not in our voices this time. A dry, ancient voice that sounded like it had been trapped in the forest for decades. "I found you." I unzipped the tent an inch, trying to call to the others, whispering, "Guys? You awake?" Jordan whispered back immediately, voice shaking. "I hear it too." Eric whispered, "On 3, we run to the fire, okay? 1, 2. Before he could say 3, a massive weight slammed into his tent. The tent collapsed around him as he screamed. I ran, grabbed his arm, pulled, and we managed to free him. The tent didn't move afterward, as if nothing had touched it. But the flap was torn open, not ripped or clawed, but almost like it had been eaten by a mouth. We didn't sleep the rest of the night, sitting by the fire with our backs together until sunrise. During the day we convinced ourselves it was just exhaustion and paranoia. But night fell again, and the forest welcomed us back into its grip. Silence returned, heavier than before, and the air seemed to weigh us down with each step. We tried to pack up early and hike out, but the forest seemed alive, shifting subtly around us, guiding our path deeper into fear. 2 miles from our campsite, fog began to form. Thick, low, unnatural. Not rolling, not drifting. Just sitting in the trees, opaque, solid like a wall. I remembered the ranger's warning, "Stay away from the low fog. When you see it, you'll know." Jordan swallowed audibly. "We're going around, right?" I said yes, but as we walked, the fog moved. Followed. Kept pace. Not like natural fog, like a living thing, a predator stalking prey. Then it spoke. Not clearly, not loudly, but deep in the fog, buried under layers of static and breath, came a voice. Stop running. My blood ran cold. Eric backed up. No. No, we're not. The fog surged forward, swallowing the ground between us and the trail. A shape moved inside it. Tall. Crooked. Limbs too long for its body. We ran. Branches whipped our faces, roots tripped our feet. The thing didn't chase like an animal. It moved with deliberate, steady steps, landing far too close to our own, keeping pace without effort. And it spoke again, not mimicking us this time. Don't leave, stay, let me in. We burst from the trees, ran straight to the ranger station, pounding on the door. He let us in, didn't even blink at our terrified, filthy faces, and locked the door behind us. Calmly he asked, "Did it touch any of you?" We didn't answer. We couldn't. Because hearing him say it confirmed the truth we had been too terrified to say out loud. He already knew. And whatever was out there in that forest, it wasn't new. We never camped again. Jordan moved far from forests, Eric moved to the city, and I thought I could leave it behind. I thought distance could erase the terror. But 2 weeks after we escaped, I woke at 3:07 a.m. to something standing outside my bedroom window. I didn't see it clearly, but I heard it. Soft. Wrong. Too close. I found you. It wasn't in my voice. Or maybe it was, but distorted. Twisted. I can still hear it sometimes, in the corner of a quiet room, in the middle of the night, in the wind between my house and the trees. And I know, somewhere out there, waiting, it's still moving through the forest, waiting for someone else to wander too far into the wrong place. Waiting for the next person to hear their own voice whisper back at them. I tell this story because I have to. Because someone should know. Because maybe if you hear it, you won't make the same mistake we did. Because some things aren't meant to be seen. Some things aren't meant to be heard. But if you do, if you're unlucky enough, they'll follow you. And there's no place you can hide. Some things in the woods are meant to remain unseen. Some voices are never meant to be heard. If you ever hear your name whispered in the darkness, remember, it may not be a friend calling. Stay safe, stay alert, and remember, the forest is always watching. If you survive that story, make sure you stick around. Subscribe to Dew of Dread for more chilling true horror stories that will haunt your nights. Hit the notification bell, and join our community of brave souls who dare to step into the shadows. Remember, the stories are real and the darkness is waiting.